It started with a phone call that shattered 21 years of trust. I was sitting at my office desk halfway through a meeting when my old friend Bruce called. He sounded nervous, hesitant even. "TJ, I need to tell you something, man. I just saw Libby, your wife. She was holding hands with some guy. They went into the Silver Pine Motel. I took a few pictures." At first, I laughed it off. Libby? The woman who still kissed me goodbye every morning, who sent me love you texts every lunch break? No, there had to be some mistake. But when Bruce sent me those photos, my heart stopped. It was her, my wife, walking into a cheap motel in the middle of the day. That night, I played dumb. I asked her how work was, whether she went out for lunch. She smiled like she always did, looking me straight in the eyes. "Just ate at my desk," she said casually. Something broke inside me right then, not from the cheating itself, but from the ease with which she lied. I didn't confront her. I needed proof. So I hired a private investigator. Not the type I'd seen in movies, no dark alley, no trench coat, just two tech-savvy young guys who could dig into every hidden corner of her life. 2 weeks later, I sat in their office staring at a folder thicker than a phone book. Inside were pictures, videos, call logs, everything. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was living 2 other lives. One with a salesman from her office, Dan Calhoun, the other with a mechanic named Henry Chambers. The report said she'd been with Dan for over a year, Henry for a few months. There were transcripts of conversations too, ones that made me sick. She talked about how she loved the security I provided, but couldn't resist the excitement of other men. That night, I sat in the dark of our living room, staring at her wedding photo on the mantel. 21 years together, 2 kids in college, a house we built, a business I built, and now everything felt like a lie. When I went to see my lawyer, I expected justice. Instead, I got a dose of reality. He told me that divorce laws didn't care about infidelity, that she could still walk away with half of everything I'd worked for. The house, my company, alimony, everything. I left his office broken and furious. Later that day, my accountant Jerry called to review our business's success. He was smiling ear to ear when he told me we were about to hit $10 million in valuation. But he stopped mid-sentence when he saw my expression. I told him everything about Libby, the lawyer, the betrayal. Jerry leaned back, silent for a moment. Then he smiled. Not a happy smile, but the kind of smile a man gets when he sees a way through the fire. "Does Libby know about the company's new valuation?" he asked. "No, she barely understands what we do." "And she doesn't know you know she's cheating?" I shook my head. "Good," Jerry said. "Then we can play this smart." That's when he explained the plan. A tax divorce. A fake divorce, on paper only, to save money on taxes. "She'll think you're doing it for financial reasons," Jerry said. "You'll transfer the house, split accounts, make it all look real. But you'll keep control of the company and every real asset. She'll believe it's temporary. She'll sign anything you put in front of her." It was brilliant. It was cruel. It was justice. That night, I rehearsed my lines. I made myself smile, made my voice sound calm. The next evening, I sat Libby down at the kitchen table, papers neatly stacked in front of me. "Libby," I said gently, "my accountant found a way for us to save about $50,000 in taxes next year." Her eyes lit up. "50,000? How?" "It's called a tax divorce," I explained. "We'd be divorced on paper, but nothing changes between us. It's just a formality for financial benefit." She looked unsure. "A divorce? Even on paper? I don't know." I leaned back, pretending to hesitate. "You're right, maybe it's not worth it. It just means you might be able to quit your job and have more free time. That's all." I saw it happen, the calculation behind her eyes. More money, more freedom, more time to cheat. She signed the papers that night. For the next few months, I played my part. I smiled. I went to business trips. She played hers too, sneaking off to be with her lovers. What she didn't know was that the cameras I'd installed were still running. Every secret meeting, every lie, every moment, all recorded. When the 6-month mark came, the divorce became final. Everything in her name, on paper. But I had everything else that mattered: the company, the accounts, and most importantly, my freedom. That's when it was time for the final act. I emailed videos of her and her lovers to their wives. Within an hour, all hell broke loose. I ignored Libby's frantic calls for days. When I finally showed up at her house, she opened the door in tears. "TJ, what's going on? Where have you been? Why are you knocking?" "This isn't my house anymore," I said calmly. "It's yours, remember?" She blinked, confused. "What are you talking about? When are we getting remarried? This was supposed to be temporary." I smiled, the kind of smile that only comes after months of pain. "Oh, I'm not remarrying you, Libby. The divorce was real. So were your affairs." Her face went white, then red, then pale again. You knew? You planned this?" I nodded slowly. "You wanted everything, Libby. The house, the money, the comfort, and your little adventures on the side. I just gave you what you wanted. Except me." She broke down, screaming, crying, begging, but I was already walking out the door. Later, she tried to fight it in court, claimed the divorce was a fraud. But standing before the judge, she admitted everything, every affair, every lie. Our children were in the courtroom that day, her parents too. When the judge ruled against her, her mother slapped her in front of everyone. My daughter turned her back. My son walked out without a word. I didn't celebrate. There was no victory in what I'd done, just silence. But that silence was mine. It was peace, the kind that comes after you burn away every illusion and see the truth for what it is. Libby lost everything because she thought she could have it all. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't rage, it's freedom.